Louisburg College. It is the Bulldogs and the Hurricanes here on JockJive. Our conversation with Rob Manchester. It is roughly 30 seconds away.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Time for our pregame conversation with Rob Manchester, head coach of the Georgia Military, of course. Again, a reminder, we record this a little bit earlier in the week. They'll play just prior to the game. Obviously, we are doing this in advance. Coach, big win up in New York. Wow, what a weird week last week. But I guess all's well that ends well. You come away with a W.
Anytime you go on the road, it's never easy to win. And, Monroe had a good team, really a lot of physical, good-looking guys, a lot of size and athletic ability. I knew we would get their best shot, and we were able to kind of get it going there in the second half offensively. We gave up some passes there, obviously when we had some big leads. So I don't know if it was a little bit of, lack of focus, but everything that we gave up, we can correct on film, but it was to get a good win over a good quality opponent is great, especially being able to get out of here before the hurricane hit. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that's been affected by that. We were lucky here in Milledgeville, but more of the eastern and southern part, southeast part of the state, not as fortunate. We got a lot of young men that are kind of down off that Golden Isles Expressway, southeast Georgia and Augusta that, they have their homes, got trees through it and this and that. But luckily, all the family members are safe. And, it's just, it's just devastating. I think I saw something, they said kind of biblical proportions. And, it's just hopefully everybody has a speedy recovery.
How much of a role did the weather play, not only from the standpoint of a wet game, but you're trying to outrun a hurricane, and then you get back into destruction on your way back. So for about a 36, 48 hour time frame, you can't help but be focused on weather.
Yeah, we were more concerned about just getting out of here, because obviously the forecast showed early Friday morning in the AM, which that's when it came, I think around 1 a.m., somewhere around in there, 1:32 here in Milledgeville. We normally leave around 10 p.m. when we go on trips like that. We moved it up to 9. Really wasn't raining much here, but our bus drivers unfortunately had to drive in the rain all the way up north. It wasn't anything that was torrential like it came through later. But we were able to get on out of here, stay away from it. We had pockets to where it wasn't raining. But we got a pretty good system here with how we change out drivers and everything. And it did rain. Now I think forecast wise up in New York there, Mount Vernon, really didn't show much rain, but it was a misty rain, just enough to be kind of annoying, but it wasn't like a heavy rain. So it was getting wet, but it didn't really feel like it was raining, if that makes any sense at all. But, then we came back home. It was still kind of raining. Then we got out of it. And then we had to come through Augusta. And, you saw the stuff on social media and everything. But it was eerie. Just all the trees down, power lines. So we hope Augusta has a fast recovery. But I think they're saying now, even all the way into October, end of the month, is when they're going to have power back. So It's unfortunate, but we were able to kind of stay away ahead of everything, get a win, and now we're back home. Thank goodness.
Keenan Phillips, big day, 3 touchdowns, leads the NJCAA with 11. Man, this guy's just got a nose for the end zone.
I mean, he does. I had three backs, almost had 100 yards. I think if you asked Coach Reddy, and he wished they would have kind of got it going a little bit sooner than the second half. But I think that's indicative of kind of how our year's gone. Not the slow start necessarily, but I think all the hard work that we did in the summer and everything, you get later on into the game, we're able to impose our will on people and run the ball. And I think that's really kind of what happened again this week. This wish we could start a little bit faster, but man, I think we got three really, really good backs. I think Traquan had a couple scores as well, and Trayvon. But the O-line is doing a great job opening up holes for them. And man, just really excited about our running back core. I personally think it's one of the best in the country.
Speaking of best in the country, you are now number 5 in the country with 2 and 3 playing this week. So, somebody's going to get knocked off in front of you. A very good possibility you move to the 4 spot. As a matter of fact, I think you do move to the 4. So you're now back into a situation where you're in control of your own destiny, practically.
I think we definitely are. We really felt like that coming out of the Iowa Western game. I think that was a good litmus test for us to, we can play and hang with anybody. But we kind of felt like that coming out of that game. We control our own destiny, but we got to take it one game at a time. We're not looking forward to the open week or even snow. I mean, we got to worry about a really good. They play hard, Louisburg team. Got some really good looking kids. They got some athletes. Got some speed at the receivers. Coach has done well over there. Coach Spellman's done a good job. And we got to go worry about Louisburg first. And I think at this point, we're kind of probably everybody's Super Bowl, so to speak. And, we got to be ready to go play. But I think you are definitely accurate. I mean, we put ourselves in a position. If we handle our business, then good Lord willing, we're able to be in the playoffs and see what happens there. But we can't look forward. I think our kids have been really grounded. We're not discussing it or anything. I mean, it's out there. It's probably kind of like the big elephant in the room, but we got to handle each week. We're more, our point of emphasis coming out of this game is, the Monroe game. We got to worry about ourselves. We got to get better at the mistakes that we're making. It's a part of the process. GMC's got to get better each week. Limit mistakes. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over several times. You play really, really good teams. That could be detrimental. But I mean, I definitely like where we are, but we got to worry about Louisburg right now.
How do you do that, though? How do you distract from? I'm not taking anything away from the Louisburgs or the Andrew Collinges of this world, but you got a Snow College on the 26th of October that really is such a massive game. How do you keep that focus, at least somewhat, from shifting over to the Badgers?
I mean, I don't know. To be quite honest with you, it's just we're just really trying to hammer home as a staff and everything into the young men that, our guys only have essentially 5 more opportunities, 5 more opportunities to impress college scouts, to put, basically, I guess, so to speak, put their resume together. And, this is the next opportunity for them to put more highlights on their highlight film, so to speak, do different things. And if you're looking ahead and if you're not worried about the upcoming game, and we're not worried, we got 3 practices during the week. We had a really good practice yesterday. We need to have another one today. We need to be able to stack days. It's, we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be the best that we can be. And get better at your craft every day. Correct the things that you didn't do well in the game. And I think if we do that, we're the emphasis is on the each week and each practice. And if we're able to keep doing that, then at some point, then that whole discussion will come about. And I'm sure if we can handle Louisburg this week, we got an open week. and each week it's going to be, amplify. I'm sure like just at the Division I level, as they get into their seasons and they get closer to the end, it's like, hey, we can be in the top 12 and be in the playoff. Um, Same here, but we got to focus on ourselves and not necessarily our opponent. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but as we got to worry about us and what we do in our preparation. So there's a long answer for your question.
You cannot apparently get away from hurricanes. You had the natural one last week. This week you got the Louisburg Hurricanes.
That's good.
What do the Hurricanes put on the turf on Saturday?
I mean, they play extremely hard. They got some good looking athletes out there. They got size, they got speed. I just know one thing with coaches' teams over there. I mean, they've been playing extremely hard. I think, we're going to get their best shot. Why wouldn't we? We're the number 5 team in the country. They're 4-1, I believe. And, if you don't go and play, you can get beat by anybody. So it's a great little atmosphere over there at Brooklyn Casey High School in Columbia, or Casey, South Carolina, just across the river. Yeah, I mean, we just got to go play. They got good enough athletes that they can cause you problems. What they do defensively is a little bit unconventional. It's a little bit different. That's what our offense is working on, and then defensively they get in multiple formations. They got good athletes. We just got to go execute and play. I think if we do what we need to do, we can come home with a win.
One last question. The health of the Bulldogs. Always like to find out how the guys are faring.
And probably the main one is Jalen Walton, one of our starting linemen. Really a cheap, dirty shot, to be quite honest with you. One of the Monroe players came in and cut him. May have dislocated his kneecap a little bit. He's getting that looked at today. I don't think any structural damage, but we'll probably definitely be without him this week. But we got some capable backups to go in there and play for him, which is good. That's obviously what recruiting does for you. But other than that, still got some guys kind of bumped and bruised up a little bit. But, one thing we always tell them is, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. If you're hurt, you got to fight through it. If you're injured, obviously you can't go. So, I mean, we're ready for an open week, I think. After this game, get back healthy. We have a break in our quarter system, so they'll be able to get home and then get ready for Andrew.
Coach, we will see you after the game on Saturday.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you.
Same here. Take care. Casey, South Carolina, Georgia Military College football as the Bulldogs get ready to take on the Hurricanes of Louisburg College. And your football every Saturday being brought to you by CBiz, Borden Perlman Sports, Enos Legal. I know you're at the Pickle Barrel enjoying the game, and while there, enjoy a Coca-Cola on a warm October afternoon. Bugs in the house, be sure to call Bug House. Ortho Georgia, the orthopedic specialist, and obviously Georgia Military College, all making our coverage possible on this October afternoon. Not yet feeling like October. Maybe that will happen a little bit later on in the month. As you got the clock winding down, the final half minute or so as we get ready for the kickoff. Perez has got it teed up at the 40-yard line. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes with a couple of guys back deep to receive. And we'll get this football game underway. My apologies for a catty-walkered score clock, but that's about as good as I could get you updated on time here at the stadium based on where my camera is perched and where the scoreboard is situated in the end zone. Coin toss won by Georgia Military. They have opted to defer. And it will be Louisburg receiving the kick of Perez. Last game before a week's break, a much-deserved break for Georgia Military. After 6 and now 7 consecutive football games. They'll get a week off, be able to maybe nurse some bumps and bruises, and get ready for a little less than the second half of the season. About 4 games remaining. Georgia Military coming in as the 5th-ranked team in the country. We are hoping 2 things: for a victory that will help not only keep them at 5, but the possibility they move up a little bit based on the fact that Snow and Iowa Western are playing today. And, of course, Iowa Western, the current number 2 team, Snow, the current number 3. Well, one last problem to overcome before getting the football game underway, and that is getting 15 minutes on the clock. We went down to goose eggs and now tried to put the 15 up there before we can get the Hurricanes and Bulldogs underway. Well, what an excellent opportunity to recognize again some of the folks that make our coverage possible.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
We have encountered a little problem. There is a clock in the end zone that's supposed to have 15 on it, and we don't yet have 15. And so there is a pause in getting this game underway. I don't know if there is currently discussion on keeping time on the field and not on the scoreboard clock, but it is currently at goose eggs. Home team is Louisburg in this one, so the discussion is with the Louisburg coach in regards to the clock, and they are continuing to look up here at the press box to see if the problem will be resolved. I don't know how long we will work on resolving the problem, and I can direct you over to our scoreboard. Well, you see it anyway on the graphic, the overlay, but there's your problem. The scoreboard has got goose eggs, and they are working feverishly up here in the box to be able to get those 15 up. Oops. Can't leave things unassisted. It wants to drift off. There we go. There's your scoreboard. And as a result of goose eggs on the board, we'll put a pause in getting this game underway. Gorgeous afternoon. Temperatures expected to get into the low 80s. Now we got 15 up on the board. That draws a cheer. And that's got us ready to get this one underway. Perez got it teed up at the 35-yard line. I don't think I've ever seen as big a cheer for a stadium clock as we got right there. Got those 15 up there. These folks ready to get some football underway. With the Hurricanes and the Bulldogs, neither team has lost more than 1. Both coming in with a 1-loss record. 4 wins on the year for the Hurricanes. And that lone loss coming to Lackawanna. And, of course, the Bulldogs' lone loss coming to Iowa Western. So both teams losing to ranked teams. Louisburg playing out of Division III. Georgia Military out of Division I. And in Division III, Louisburg would love to use this as an opportunity to improve not only their standings, but impress pollsters. There is a little bit of a hole out to the 29-yard line on the return, close to the 30. And now you got a little extracurricular activity going on. Don't see any penalty flags. But there was some extracurricular stuff going on between Mondell Hutto and Ryan Young. And I am not sure who instigated. Might have been kind of a twofold thing. But what a way to get the ball game underway. Got a clock issue, and now you got frayed temperaments, and you've only had a kickoff. Out across the 40. That is Glenwood Robinson. And he will pick up the first on a first down carry. Had an opportunity to talk with the coaches at Georgia Military, and they did concede that pregame prep was a little sluggish. They were worried coming in, and you've had a pretty good kickoff return and a run of 10 by Robinson. And it is a first down and 10 at the 42-yard line. Trevelyan known for putting the ball upstairs. Hatton, but will here. Well, maybe not. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll be dropped at the 38, loss of 3 on the sack. Well, the Georgia Military College forte, I want to say is defense, but they score a lot of points too. But this defense has been very good, but particularly against the run. Not quite as good against the pass. As a matter of fact, last week, Monroe University, on a rainy afternoon in New York, able to throw for 241 yards. And Trevelyan, a guy who can certainly put up the numbers pass-wise. Fake to Robinson, Trevelyan to the 44, near the 45-yard line. And a gain of 6. And actually, that is Jameson Prince, who is at QB. Trevelyan, the guy who's put up the through-the-air numbers, but it is Prince in the backfield to begin this one for Louisburg. On a 3rd down and 7. He'll drop back, and he'll get dropped. And a little extra shoving going on. Boy, these temperaments, at least early indications are, Hurricanes and Bulldogs aren't real good friends. And it'll be a 4th down and a punting situation. Bland going back to receive. Meanwhile, it is Xavier Chambers, ready to boot it away from his 23. Bland standing at his 23. So on opposite 23s on a 4th down and 14. Football at the 38-yard line. And the Bulldogs hoping that they will have their first opportunity offensively. There was a penalty flag and a jump. Fingers pointed by the Hurricanes. The Dogs indicating on offsides. Let's see what the officials say happened. It'll still be a 4th down, but either a 4th and 9 or a 4th at about 19. And it is going to be a false start charge to the Hurricanes. So a 5-yard mark off against Louisburg, turning a 4th and 14 into a 4th down and right at 19. Bland stepping up to the 28. And that one is off the side of the foot. And the Bulldogs will start an excellent field position inside Louisburg territory to begin their opening drive of the football game. Well, you know all the issues we had last week. First of all, couldn't get to New York to cover. Compliments of Helene. And then worked out a deal to be able to bring you video from New York and audio from Alabama. And all the rain, just run Monroe University's video equipment and run our coverage of the game. Well, you see a new quarterback in the backfield for Georgia Military. That injury to Chip Cooper continuing to hamper his ability to perform. And I think he could play and may play today, but they want to give him some rest. And Jalen Brown, who had that big performance in his lone start of the year, throwing for 251 yards and 4 touchdowns into the game. Handoff given to Traquan Jones. No, that is Typically Jones in the backfield, but you're going to have a different starter. This is Keenan Phillips. Keenan Phillips leading the NJCAA with 11 touchdowns scored, 3 last weekend in New York. And Traquan, who typically is the guy in the backfield to begin the football game. So a whole new backfield for GMC. Gain of 8. Phillips picks up the first as he will make his way to the 23. So the sticks on the far sidelines will move. And it is the first down and 10. Football at the 23-yard line. Phillips rushing for 375 yards. All-purpose yards, his forte, 106 on the year. Brown to pass. It is caught at the 20. And that is Johnson on the grab. Well, the Jalen Brown we saw in the season opener against Jima Prep, where he threw a couple of passes, both picks, was definitely not the guy we saw in his first start of the year. And comes into the ball game with just under 300 yards passing. Handoff given to Phillips, saw nothing up the middle, breaks it to the outside, 10-5. And Phillips picking up another first. It'll be first and goal for the Bulldogs at the 5-yard line. Phillips in the backfield and Brown looking to the sidelines. I think he might be asking, hey, are we going to the Wildcat? That's been a familiar situation in the short yardage scenarios. Phillips down to the 2. And Phillips slow getting up. I checked that. The injured player is Marcus Goodlow, who is on the bottom of that tackle. Phillips landing on Goodlow. Goodlow apparently okay, though. He will come to the sidelines. And it'll be a second down and goal from near the 2. Five minutes into the football game. Georgia Military, their opening drive. Excellent field position, compliments of a shanked punt. And it is second down and goal from the 1. Handoff given to Phillips, wraps it up, takes it into the end zone. TD number 12 on the year for Keenan Phillips. And Georgia Military College on the board, their opening drive of the football game. Started inside Louisburg territory and makes its way into the end zone. Perez trying to tack on the extra point, has only missed once this year. And he will boot it through. It's a 7-zip GMC lead. Exactly 10 minutes to play in the first, and Georgia Military on the board. Phillips with his 12th TD of the year. And Perez tacking on the extra point. Georgia Military taking a 7-zip lead. That'll go out of bounds at the 3. So it will be brought out to the 35. And that is where Louisburg will take over first down and 10. A lot of sports today on JockJive. A lot of different sports. Volleyball wraps up in Bay Minette. Sneed State knocking off Coastal Alabama South in 3. Got baseball going on in Mississippi and Mississippi Gulf Coast. Nowhere to go for Robinson. There is a penalty flag. And that is typically where you get a hold. Could be a face mask, though. Let's see what the officials say happened in the trenches. Robinson, no gain. There was a hold. And the penalty yardage will be marked off and a replay of first down. Baseball going on at Mississippi Gulf Coast. It is part of the Showcase Series. Tonight, Allen University and Albany State. Now it's been declined. So Coach Rob Manchester says, you know what? Scratch the 10 yards and a replay of first. Let's take the 2-yard loss and a second down. Football at the 33. Give to Robinson. He'll be caught behind the line of scrimmage and lose 3 more. It is a 3rd down and 15. So that's tonight, by the way, new kickoff for Allen State and Albany State. Got a 6 p.m. kick versus a 7 p.m. Eastern kick, which, by the way, is just a hop, skip, and a jump up the road. And then tomorrow, more fall baseball, the ABC League and Showcase Series right here. Now the penalty flag, it has been penalty marred early. And let's see, it is a false start. And it'll be a 5-yard mark off. 9:07 to play in the opening stanza. Georgia Military with next week off. And then back to Davenport Field. 2 more road games. And boy, are they forever more road games. Prince trying to find somebody to throw to and doesn't have time to look. Drop to the 25, and the drive will consume a -10. And back to a 3rd down situation. When the team ran off the field thinking that, okay, you're bringing the punt unit on, but the officials conferring. And let's see the result of the conference. They apparently lost the football. Did Louisburg. It's a fumble recovery. Well, the discussion between officials, and they confirmed apparently the knee of Prince had not touched the turf before the ball popped out. Trayvon Kinchin in the backfield behind Jalen Brown. And Kinchin running room to the 10, down to the 7. And it'll be a first down and goal. They say the knee touched at the 8. We're in his first and goal for the Bulldogs. Another give to Kinchin. Nothing up the middle. Tries to bounce it at the outside. Boy, he winds up getting close. Near the 1. And it will be 2nd and goal. What's interesting that you got the typical starter, Trayvon Jones, leading the team in rushing, but way back in TDs. You get Phillips leading the team, and then Kenshin has 7 on the year. 1 on his 8th, but he's going to be stopped by the Hurricanes at the 2. So Louisburg able to snuff out Kenshin. Loses a yard, turns it into a 3rd and 2. A little better than halfway through the opening stanza. And Jalen Brown getting his 2nd start of the year with Kenshin in the backfield and a 3rd and 2. Low snap, picked up, pitched to Kenshin. He'll be dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of another yard. And it is a 4th down. Do you bring Perez in? And I think we've already got our answer. He's trotting onto the turf with tee in hand. Perez, despite his success on extra point kicks, really has not had a lot of opportunities field goal wise. 1 of 2 on the year. And hit a 36-yarder, his first of the year last week. This one from 20 yards away, good. And Georgia Military pushes the lead out to 10. Ten-zip Bulldog lead, 20-yard field goal from Perez. Pushing the lead out to 10. The return will start at the 8, across the 30, to the 37-yard line. And Louisburg will set up drive number 3 at the 37. Meanwhile, on the return, it was McKeum Davis out of Statesville, North Carolina. A lot of guys starting today that we did not anticipate starting. Prince at QB for Louisburg versus Trevelyan. Jalen Brown getting the start versus Chip Cooper for Georgia Military. No running room up the middle, might have squeaked out a yard. And then is Denijah Scott. Well, the powerhouse in Division III has been DuPage. And I'm sure that's who Louisburg and every team in Division III football has their sights on. As a matter of fact, DuPage, as it is incomplete, like Louisburg playing a Division I school this week. They've got Iowa Central. And obviously Louisburg playing the Bulldogs of GMC. 5 minutes remaining in the opening stanza. Phillips with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. And Perez with a 20-yard field goal. And nothing yet has happened on the Bulldog half of the football field. Prince firing over the middle and is incomplete. And Prince trying to find his big tight end, the 6'3", 225-pound Jabari Roan. It'll be a 4th down. Bland back to return the kick. Xavier Chambers hoping for a little more success as compared to the opening punt of the football game. Shanked it off the side of the foot. Bland standing back at his 25. And this time a nice kick. It's got Bland calling for the fair catch at the 21. And that is where Georgia Military will take over. First down and 10. By the way, I already see the shout-outs coming in. You know, that's something we do in the third stanza, right? But hey, I like that, getting at the front of the line. Getting those shout-outs ready. So in stanza number 3, we'll do it again and go ahead and put those creative thinking caps on. And we'll send shout-outs in the third. By the way, got the Juco Rush coming up at halftime. I tried to downsize it. It's about a 26-minute show. So trying to fit it into a half. I've been able to whack it down to about 22 minutes. Brown on the keeper. He will cross the 25 to the 27. Soon coming up at the half, we'll quickly get into the Juco Rush. Check that out. Talking about football all over the NJCAA. Gain of 6 on a first down, Brown carry. Bringing up a second down and 4. Handoff given to Phillips. Phillips got the first, got more. Across the 40, still on his feet, 45. Breaks into the mid part of the field. He'll be trapped from the backside, but not until he gets down to the 32-yard line, where it will be first down for Georgia Military. First and 10, football at the 31. Inside 4 to play in the opening quarter. Brown drops back, wants to pass, looks, fires, and it is apparently complete. Catch made by Lee Niles, a gain of 9. And it'll bring up a second down, and we'll call it 2. Probably more like 1.5. Kinchin in the backfield. A 3-receiver set for Brown, who hands off to Kinchin. Kinchin trying to break tackles. He'll be dropped behind the line of scrimmage. And it'll bring up a third down, and they're going to mark him all the way back to the 30. Loss of 8. And it is a third down and 9. Kinchin to pass. Stands in the pocket, fires, and it is incomplete. Trying to get it to Jalen Flood, but an incomplete pass, bringing up a 4th down and long. Well, if you're looking at field goal from this range, you're talking about a 46, 47 yarder. And we've seen Perez make one from 36 yards. That has been the longest of the year. So no field goal effort coming. It'll be a 4th and go for it for the Bulldogs. Fake to Kinchin, dropped it, picks it back up, fires, and it is incomplete. Trying to get it to Niles. Niles couldn't make the catch. Hurricanes will take over first down and 10. .234 to go in the opening quarter. And the Bulldogs with 3 drives, 2 of which have resulted in scores. That one stalls out at the 30-yard line. And it'll be a first down and 10. And I don't think this is Prince anymore. This is Trevelyan. Now here's the guy that's thrown for 1,000 yards of the year. And his first pass of the football game incomplete over the middle. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Hitting on 61% of his passes. And it would be sheer speculation as to why he didn't start, so I won't. But he's the guy that's got the big aerial numbers for the Hurricanes. And will drop back again, fires, pass is caught. Spinning to the 34, and then the ball, does it pop out? Is it officially 6? It did, and it is. Javon Kinchin. Denijah Scott. Ball pops loose. And it is Kinchin taking it 28 yards for the touchdown on the fumble recovery. And here early we've had a little bit of a lot of stuff. Touchdown on the run. Points off the field goal. Now the fumble recovery and the Perez kick makes it 17-zip Bulldogs. Return from the goal line. Out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And that is Davis again on the return. Davis returned the kick after the Perez field goal. Does the same here and brings it out to the 35, and that's where it is first down and 10. Trevelyan back in the backfield, working his second drive of the football game. Out across the 38 to the 39-yard line. That is Evan Sloan. I make that Evan Garrett. I keep remembering we live in this era in which a defender and an offender, if you will, wear the same numbers. What happened to the good old days where only one number was assigned to one player? There was movement, and you're going to have a penalty flag. Not much of a gain, but a receiver on the opposite side missed the snap count and took off downfield before the football was snapped. And it looks like Rob Manchester is saying, go ahead, mark off the penalty yardage. So it'll be a 5-yard mark off. And a repeat of second down after the 5-yard mark off. Well, I guess they are confirming with Coach Manchester, is this what you want? And he said, yeah. And there was the 5-yard mark off back to the 34. That'll turn it into a 2nd down and 10. Garrett out on the flats. Trevelyan looks, fires over the middle. And it is incomplete. Might have been deflected. Pass intended for Quaron Miller. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. A reminder at the end of the ball game, we always talk with Rob Manchester. That's a conversation that is exclusively on YouTube. Even last week, when he was on the bus headed home, had the conversation with Rob. 3rd down and 10. Trevelyan. Outlet, that is a secondary receiver who is dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Loses yardage. Davis with the grab. And it'll be a 4th down and long in a punting situation again. Chambers on to do the honors. Looks like Bland will drift back to receive the kick. Chambers standing at his 20. Bland standing at his 30. Clock winding down, less than a half minute to play in the opening quarter. It will hit, bounce backwards down to the 36. And that's where the Bulldogs will take over 1st down and 10 in a 17-zip game. Offense, defense, and special teams accounting for the points for Georgia Military. And we likely will have a single play left in the quarter and move on to quarter number 2. Well, I know there was an injury to Cooper, and that has kept him off the turf. I did not know that Jones needed to get a break. As a matter of fact, I see him over on the sidelines. He may not like the idea of a break. Handoff given to Kinchin. And Kinchin dropped to the line of scrimmage. There is a flag thrown in late. That is the end of the quarter, but let's see what the infraction is before heading to quarter number 2. No gain on the Kinchin carry. The officials chat. Good crowd on hand. What a great spot for football. 3rd year, I think, that it's been here. These two teams. Thanks very much to Coach Sharpay for the opportunity to sit here really in the best seat in the house. Watch the game. Me and my NJCAA dude here out of North Carolina. He's kicked back, relaxed, and we're watching the first 15 minutes of this one come to an end. 17-0 Bulldogs as we head to quarter number 2.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
We head into quarter number 2. Georgia Military with the football. And I said our NJCAA dude, Lynn Hartzell, is up here in the box enjoying the game from a great vantage point. Lynn, the only problem is we need to close the windows so you can, cop all those AC. But got to open it up for these cameras. And I say that we were doing a game in Tyler, Texas, and you couldn't open the windows there, but it was a day game, so no reflection. Here, aiming towards nightfall, got to open the windows. 2nd down and 15. No gain on the play after the penalty yardage is marked off. Kinchin in the backfield, 3 receivers set to the left, 1 to the right. On a 2nd down and 15 as we get into quarter number 2. And off given to Kinchin, and Kinchin dropped behind the line of scrimmage. So this Louisburg defense tightening. And the Bulldogs now are about 22 yards away from where they need to be to pick up the first. Third down and long. Telebast in motion. Brown to throw, drops back, looks the field over, fires. Got a receiver at the 33 to the 40. Got to get to the 46 to pick up the first. And that is Flood making his way to the 41. Not quite enough for the first, and it'll bring up a fourth and the first opportunity of the day to see Cole Snyder onto the turf, averaging 41 per kick. Driving kick. All the way back to the 8-yard line. That was York on the return. And what a big Cole Snyder kick. Boy, after that first week of the season against Gyra Prep, averaged 36 yards per kick. And then has just been adding to that each week. Came into today averaging better than 41, and that was better than 41. As the Hurricanes will take over 1st down and 10 at the 10. Trevelyan on a 1st and 10. And just not a whole lot of running room. I don't know that there is an Achilles heel where this defense is concerned as the fullback Seth Gregory will get back to the line of scrimmage. But if there is, it's typically where the Bulldogs are concerned is the passing of the opposition. They have been very good against the run. But in this particular situation, and she got a pretty nice run there. Well, all you got to do is brag on the defense. And they'll let yardage be picked up, and it looks like there might be more tacked on, an infraction coming in late. And let's see if it is charged to the defense or offense, if it will add to or take away from the run. And while we have the opportunity, Lynn and I are talking about the passing of Dave Elder's father, the commissioner of the GCAA. Our thoughts and prayers with Dave and family. And Dave, if you're watching, we're thinking of you and the family in this time of loss and grieving. Well, they're going to wave off the flag. And that means it is going to be apparently either a 1st down and 10 or I believe a 3rd down and very, very short. Bringing the chains onto the turf. Well, the umpire right between us and the football can't really get a good look from this angle, but there the official has indicated it is 1st and 10 Louisburg. By the way, too, let me say congratulations to Bayside Academy last night, knocking off Hillcrest Evergreen High School football that we bring you on Fridays. That was a big win for Bayside. Coach Barrett Trotter and company. A job well done. That was a team that you kind of wondered if the Admirals could do it. Davis stopped to the line of scrimmage. But boy, did they ever. Scored on the opening drive and never relinquished the lead, though it got close a couple of times. But win it 28-20, big conference game. That doesn't mean they've got a home playoff game, but it sure went a long way towards seeing that happen. Still got TR Miller, still got XL, still have Cottage Hill. Inside 12 to play. Trevelyan with a give and stumbling across the 20 to near the 23-yard line. That is, I believe, Anthony Tando. Gains a couple of yards. It'll be a 3rd down and 8 with a football at the 22. There's this little football game about 3 miles away, Ole Miss and South Carolina. They might have a few more people than we have here. Third down 8. Looking for a hole, making his way to the 25-yard line. That is Evan Garrett. He won't have enough for the first. And it'll bring up a 4th down. In reality, I poke a little jest in, but there probably are some folks there that might be here. But still a pretty good crowd on hand watching football this afternoon from Brooklyn Casey High School. Chambers to kick, Bland to return. Line drive kick. And it will take a hurricane roll down to the 25-yard line. Boy, there's just this temptation from return guys to take it on the hop, and it looked like Bland was thinking about it. That would not have been a good decision. The odds are not in your favor for the outcome to be good when you field one of those end-over-end shots. Down to the 28, that's where it is 1st down and 10. After talking with Rob Manchester earlier this week, as the pitch goes to Phillips, and Phillips will be bumped out of bounds, and now you got a flag, and that might be a late hit. But after talking with Rob after the coaches show, I knew we were going to see Brown, but at that particular moment in time, it was kind of Brown's going to get some reps, Cooper's going to get some snaps, and Cooper may get some snaps. But it sure is looking, now that we are nearing the halfway mark of the 2nd stanza, that Brown may get the bulk of those reps. We have, too, seen Chris Phillips come into the game at various moments. Not this one, but prior ones. Brown on the carry inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line, a gain of 7. So we might see Phillips into the game as well at some point. And another back we haven't seen a whole lot of lately, Derek Mincy. Maybe he gets into the game as well. 2nd down and 8. The screen. Phillips able to make his way inside the 40 down to the 37. It is 3rd and very short. Brown on the keeper. Brown's got the first. Brown's got more than the first. Inside the 30 to the 26. And it is a 1st down and 10 with the football at the 26. Andrew College, Clayton State, Snow, and Lackawanna, the 4 opponents remaining for Georgia Military. As the handoff is given to Phillips up the middle, and he'll be stopped near the line of scrimmage. It is almost hard for me to believe that we are headed down the home stretch. Seems like we started this season maybe a couple of weeks ago, but that was the latter part of August. And here we are into the first week of October. And where the Bulldogs are concerned, half of those games at home, half on the road. Brown. Pass is caught. And Johnson will step out of bounds at the 21. Gain of 7 on the pass play, bringing up a 3rd down and 3. Home games against Andrew College and Clayton State. Road games to Utah and Pennsylvania. 3rd down and 3 is at 4-down territory. Running the option, Brown with a keeper. Still on his feet, inside the 20, down to the 18, and it appears he's got enough for the first, and there won't be a decision to make. At least not a decision as to go for it or try to split the uprights. And Brown looking a little banged up after a 1st down carry. .6:46 to play. Half number 1. Handoff given to Kinchin. And Kinchin will pound his way down to the 12. It is 2nd down and 6. Phillips in the backfield. Tarver to one side, Johnson to the other. Well, there's penalty flags, and there was definitely an offsides, but the question is, were they drawn offsides? And that will be the decision made by the officials. It happened on the right side of the offensive line or the left side of the defensive line. Let's see what the officials say. And it is going to be a false start. Nope, now they say an offsides. Well, maybe you had both. But the false start would draw the offsides to be offset. I don't know if I've ever seen those offsetting. That would be a weird offsetting. It is offsides. And it'll be a 2nd down and 1. Brown will keep it. And does he have enough for the first? If they give him his forward progress from this vantage point, it looks like it, but they've got a better view than I. Helmet pops off for Brown, which means he's got to come off the field. And it looks like instead of Chris Phillips coming into the ball game, they'll run the Wildcat with Keenan Phillips on a 3rd down and short. Looking for a little seam, finds it, makes his way into the end zone from 9 yards out, and there is TD number 2 for Keenan Phillips. He has done that rather frequently this year. 14th touchdown of the season. And Perez trying to tack on the extra point. Snap, kick, and hold. The officials say it is all good. Bulldogs by 24.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Bulldogs averaging better than 40 a game, which means they're putting about 20 plus on the board each half. They need to get 24s in with 5:11 to play here in the opening half. And that's going to be brought out to the 35-yard line, I think. Isn't the official trying to get a flag out of his pocket? Did it go into the end zone or out of bounds? From this vantage point, I thought it had gone out of bounds. If so, it comes out to the 35-yard line, or you get a re-kick. And it looks like we're going to have it kicked again. So Perez will try it again, apparently. And if he tries it again, it will be 5 yards further back. And yep, there goes the penalty yardage marked off back to the 30. The weather is noticeably more pleasant this week for the Bulldogs than last week. Played in the rain in New York. And of course, Helene, which, by the way, again, thoughts and prayers to the folks in North Carolina. Asheville just ripped apart. It's a place me and the wife go about every 6 months. But I think it won't happen this Christmas. But hopefully they will get back on their feet quickly. But weather miserable for the Bulldogs a week ago. Nice today. Kickoff return from the 9. Davis to the 30. And he'll come out of bounds at the 31-yard line. And that is where Louisburg will take over. First down and 10. Prince got the started QB. Trevelyan came into the game with a couple of minutes to play in the opening stanza and has been in the backfield since. Garrett by his side on a 1st and 10 from the 33. Handoff given to Garrett. Garrett up the middle, and he will dive forward to near the 40. Gain of 8 on a 1st down carry. Coming into the game, there was not a single rusher with 100 yards For Louisburg, their forte had been the Trevelyan passing. But a nice gain of 7 there for Garrett. Trevelyan pass play. Out across midfield inside Bulldog territory for the first time on the pass play to Jeffrey McDonald. And Louisburg trying to get on the board before halftime. Handoff given to Garrett. And Garrett will back his way to the 44. Gain of a couple of yards brings up a 2nd down and 8. Garrett goes in motion, Trevelyan to pass. Fires over the middle. The incomplete pass will bring up a 3rd down and long. Football at the 44. And in a 24-zip ball game with 3:32 to play in the half, could be 4-down territory for Louisburg. With the ball at the 44 of GMC. Trevelyan sidestepping the rush, picking up positive yardage down to the 37. And he might have the first. It'll depend upon the spot. Looked like they moved it back about a yard. And we'll turn it into a 4th and short. And definitely, if you are the Hurricanes, you're going for it here. Clock running near the 3-minute mark here in the opening half. And a reminder, immediately at halftime, we're going to the Juco Rush. Handoff given to Robinson, and Robinson's got the first on a 4th and short. Now the Bulldogs were pointing the other way as if to say they had it 1st and 10, but no. Robinson definitely got inside the 46. And it'll be 1st down and 10. Robinson, a 6-footer from Mooresville, North Carolina. Playing behind Trevelyan, the QB, out of Virginia. On a 1st down and 10 at the 36. Trevelyan slammed to the turf, helmet comes off, football comes out. But Trevelyan able to get the football back, stretch of the neck. It did not feel particularly good. He'll come out of the game and Prince will return for at least a play. And we are inside the 2-minute mark. So the 2-minute timeout, and we return to South Carolina after this. Well, we are back to 2 minutes left in the half. And it ticked to 150 when the officials took the play and then continued to roll down to the 144 mark. Prince in for a play after the helmet comes off of Trevelyan. And let's see if he stays in the game. Nope, there comes Trevelyan back in. Incomplete pass, top of the clock with 1:44 left to play in the half. Third down and 20. Trevelyan taking off inside the 40, down to the 35. He'll make his way to the 34. Needed 20 and got about 13 of that. And he'll bring up a fourth down. We'll call it 8. Football at the 34-yard line. Clock running, 1:10 to go. Robinson in the backfield beside Trevelyan on a fourth down and 8. Pass incomplete, just a little bit low. And it'll be a loss of down. The Bulldogs will get the football back with less than a minute to play in the half. Well, since we go straight into Juco Rush at the half, quick rundown of scoring. 10 minutes to play in the first. Phillips, a 1-yard touchdown run. The Perez kick, good. 7-zip Bulldogs. 5:41 to play in the first. Perez, a 20-yard field goal. The lead goes to 10. And then to 17 on a Kinshin 28-yard fumble recovery with 2:12 to play in the first. The only second quarter score was Keenan Phillips, a 9-yard touchdown run. Extra point kick good, and that's where we are at 54 seconds away from halftime. Bulldogs with the 24-zip lead. And that is Chris Phillips in the backfield now. And I don't know if it is exclusively to give Phillips some reps or Brown, who came off the field a little banged up, as a precaution, staying on the sidelines. That's the stuff we'll talk to Coach Rob Manchester after the game about. Drop behind the line of scrimmage is Phillips. And Louisburg will take the opportunity to call a timeout, seeing as though they might wind up with the football in decent field position. Third down and long coming up for the Bulldogs.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
23 seconds left to play in the half. It is a third down and 19. Football on the 25. Bulldogs have got to get to the 43 to pick up the first. Phillips. Handoff is given up the middle to Kinshin, but there are penalty flags. And based on the direction the Bulldogs are heading, must be a hold right there in the trenches. And there's your call. Holding charge to Georgia Military. Well, if you are Louisburg, you might opt to decline the penalty, because if you accept the penalty, then you've got another third down and more time coming off the clock. That play consumes 6 seconds. So it should be fourth down. But the Bulldogs apparently not going to send Cole Snyder onto the field. Maybe they're not aware that, well, the down marker says third, but I believe it is a fourth down. And it is. They moved it 4, and the coach just realized, hey, what the heck are we doing? Let's boot this thing away, and Cole Snyder will trot onto the field. While back deep to receive is Rashid Jones. High kick, not particularly long. And you got a collision, and I guess that would be interfering with the right to make a fair catch, but I don't think that Colin Kungu knew that was incoming. And they have a midfield collision. But that is going to be Louisburg football with some penalty yardage tacked on. With 8 seconds, by the way, remaining in the half. Well, there's the infraction. There's the mark off of the penalty yardage. And there's where the ball is spotted, just shy of the 45. Eight seconds left to go in the half. One, maybe two plays. And Trevelyan and company trying to find the end zone with a 4-receiver set. And a timeout asked for by Georgia Military. 24-zip Bulldogs, 8 seconds away from halftime.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Could be the last play of the half. Trevelyan running for his life. Pass is incomplete. And the incompletion will come with a tick left on the clock. So there will be one more play before we head to the locker room at halftime. Miller, the intended target. And let's see if Louisburg goes the flea flicker route or just airs it out with a Hail Mary. Last play of the half, unless, of course, a penalty is assessed and dropped as Trevelyan sacked to end the half. So we are halfway there. And at the half, Georgia Military leading it by 24. Your halftime feature, the Juco Rush. It's coming up.
And welcome into the Juco Rush. I'm Mike Fraser, downtown Chicago. He's Robert Williamson in South Alabama. Robert, you dodged a storm. You're living right, kid.
Man, I dodged a storm. And by the way, you didn't mention that I'm in downtown Florella. You're downtown Chicago. I'm downtown Florella.
Hey, man, I like it, man. What else we like? Pepsi. Pepsi, a proud partner of the Juco Rush. Pepsi and Allen Beverages. They understand and respect not only community college athletics, but the education all NJCAA colleges provide. Allen Beverages down in Gulfport, Mississippi. Refreshingly local since 1947. Boy, some big football games last week. I mean, I look at Cisco with a quality win over Kilgore. I look at Blinn in a shootout, coming from behind to beat Navarro. That was just in Texas, Robert.
Well, I mean, Texas, though, don't they do this year in, year out? I mean, they beat up on each other. You know, we're not halfway through the season, and everybody in Texas has got a loss.
Yeah, it is. And everybody knocks Texas, you know, when you talk to folks around the league, like, well, you know, maybe they're down this year. No, they just beat each other up. I mean, it's a pick'em game there every week. Hey, how about Dodge City? Speaking of conferences, how about Kansas's Ryan Lusby at Dodge City? Picks up another, you know, he beats Highland. Now he knocks off Iowa Central. Picks up a pair of big fourth downs. He's getting it done there, and he got that job really late in the spring. They're winning at Dodge City.
Well, and I was about to bring up what you just brought up. I mean, aren't they supposed to be down right now because the coach comes in late? I thought that was the formula for being down and out, but they're right into the thick of things.
Yeah, they sure are. Talk about massive wins, snow on the road at Butler. Boy, Donnie Smith, is that guy not a football player? Hooks up with his wide receiver, Adonis Tillman, with, 10, 20 seconds left in the game to win that one at Butler, 21-14. Gut check loss for Butler. Massive win because Snow, the argument on them is they don't play enough tough teams. So when they face the tough teams, they have to beat them. Snow passed another test with a quality road win last week.
And Snow, of course, saying we don't play tough teams like Lackawanna, Butler, Iowa Western, Georgia Military. They got some tough ones on the schedule.
That they do. Let's look at the rankings. The latest NJCAA rankings have been released, and no surprise, Hutch stays at number one. Robert, my top 10 is pretty different this time, and I like Hutch on the one line, Iowa Western on the two line. I'm moving Mississippi Gulf Coast up to number 3, 5-0. That is a freight train, a locomotive. They are rolling down the tracks. Nobody is going to touch them until the conference playoffs. Glenn Davis at Colin might have something to say about that, but I still think Gulf Coast gets past Colin when they play. Then I've got Garden City. I'm high on Kiyoshi Harris. I'm high on that Garden City rushing attack. I'm putting them at 4-1 at number 4 in the country. Georgia Military at 5. Northwest 6. Snow 7. And my 8, 9, and 10 are Holmes, Highland, and Kilgore.
Man, I don't know if I can agree with all of that, Mike. I mean, I like the fact that you get 1, 2, and 3 as Hutch, Iowa Western, and Mississippi Gulf Coast. I can agree with that. I've got Snow at 4. I don't bump them to 7. And I don't want Garden City in front of Georgia Military College. Georgia Military's only loss of the year. Iowa Western, who was then number 1, lost in an OT, could have won. And if they'd gone from 1 maybe and forced a second overtime, Garden City has lost to Navarro, did so by 14. Navarro's not even in the top 15. So I like part of what you got, kind of wondering if there might be a little something extra in that Pepsi you're sipping on there in Chicago.
Listen, I stand by my remarks. 11 through 15, Robert. I've got Jones at 11, Lackawanna 12, Cisco 13, Dodge City 14. I agree. And then I'm putting Blinn up in the 15th spot. Going to remove Butler. Blinn with just an incredible football victory in conference last week. And, they deserve to be the number 15 team in the country. Your thoughts?
I'm going to agree with you. I think Cisco should be in the top 15 because they knocked off Kilgore. I like Blinn in the top 15 as well, though they are not there in the national polls. They're there in our polls on virtue of that 2-1 start to the year.
Look, you mentioned Cisco. How about the Cisco kid, that quarterback, Landon Vessel? 20 of 35 for 321 yards, 4 touchdowns in that win over Kilgore. He is playing great football, and Cisco doing a great job with Charlie Rizzio winning there. Look at some of these first-year coaches. Ryan Lusby at Dodge City getting it done. Kiyoshi Harris back in the league. He's getting it done. Oliver Soku for Nimi, picking up a big quality football win here a couple of times. They're 2-2 on the year. So I like the changing of the guard. You know, these programs lost some quality coaches, but guys have stepped right up in there and gotten it done. All right, let's go with our players of the week. Robert, I'm going to lead it off. What do you say? You all right with that? Are you okay with that? I don't think you're going to top. You're not going to be able to top my two guys. I mean, these are two lock. These guys just incredible of the work they did. Let's start with Rylan Wooten of getting the job done. I mean, did he not make it happen or what? Threw for 426 yards, 29 to 43 passing, 3 touchdowns in the win over Navarro. Rylan Wooten, what an effort, what a stud, as he's one of my players of the week. I'm staying in the same game. I'm going to Mason Shorb at Navarro. There's no way I'm leaving a guy who threw for over 400 yards off the board. His numbers are strong. 21 of 32, 3 touchdowns. They lose it by 1. Man, 406 yards. Mason Shorb and Rylan Wooten, you guys, here's to you. Here's the Pepsi player of the week for me right here, you two guys, and cheers to you. Heck of an effort.
Yeah, I mean, good, big, gaudy numbers.
Can't touch them.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, now, okay, I can't put gaudy numbers from Zach Wilkie at 213 yards passing or maybe a touchdown and no interceptions, but here's how I can match, and I think pass your guy, 23 of 24, 96% pass completion. That's an A when I was in school. It's an A for Zach Wilkie at Northwest Mississippi, and what a big performance. All right, what about this guy? Wayman Jordan, 9 carries, 175 yards. What is that per carry? It's about 20 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, 18, 53, 25, 34-yard TDs. Wayman Jordan and Zach Wilkie, I'm saying tops Rylan Wooten, and Mason Shorb.
And look, a lot of running backs, 9 guys over 100 yards rushing. You talked about your guy for Cole Trey Minor, 121 rushing yards. Just a bunch of guys. Keenan Franks for Pearl River, 3 straight 100 rushing yard games. Damarian Petit, 166 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. Navarro's Clay Thievenen had 123. Lackawanna Maurice Edwards had over 100 yards. And my guy, Garden City, more on him later in the show. DeJuan Lacey, 15 carries, 126 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Just a workhorse in that Garden City backfield. One running back we didn't mention, but we're going to talk about right now. That is for Mississippi Gulf Coast. Trey Hall, 171 yards rushing last week. He sat down with the Juco Rush. Now joining us, Trey Hall, the nation's leading rusher in the NJCAA, running back for the Mississippi Gulf Coast Bulldogs, who continue to be one of the top-ranked teams in the nation. Trey, welcome to the Juco Rush.
Yes, sir. Hey, how y'all doing out there?
Trey, you're about 185. Let's start there. How's the body holding up at the halfway point of the season?
My body holding up pretty good right now. Going on training room and take care of my body. I'm not a big guy, so I got to really focus on my body and stay in the training room as much as I can.
I got to ask him, I once heard Emmitt Smith say that the hardest pops he took in high school, he got all the time in college. The hardest pops that he got in college were the shots that he took all the time in the pros. I mean, do you find that to be a reality, and how big is the adjustment, or was the adjustment for you at the high school level, taking on these guys who are substantially larger than those you played at the prep school?
I mean, it was a big adjustment coming out of high school. Like, it was some good guys in high school, but it's a different level of football. So these guys are big out here, and it's a it's a college level, so it's about beating it. These guys got jobs on the field, and they coming out trying to kill you every time. But I adjust to it well.
You know, you have just, again, won another award where the conference is concerned, Player of the Week. I mean, does that stuff get old? Do you sometimes go, yeah, man, another trophy, another certificate, another award to place on a shelf? Or does each one bear a particular amount of significance to you?
No, I try to stay humble. I'm a humble guy, so I never try to get too high, never try to get too low. I try to stay in the middle and maintain and keep making plays. And if I got to keep making plays and them to keep noticing me, then I'm just keep doing it and stay humble.
Trey, your instincts. What's your best asset as a running back? Are you able just to see those holes and hit through them? Is it your speed? Is it your instinct? What is it?
I can say all you just named. I got good vision. I can hit the holes and I can see it open up before it even happened. It's just instinct I got as running back. I'm just made to play running back.
What led you to Gulf Coast? Why Mississippi Gulf Coast?
It's a good coaching staff I got. They treated me as well. They treated me and had a good relationship with me, and I felt like it was the best play for me, the best opportunity to come in and be the guy and come in and play some good football.
You know, you look at what you did last year. You had nearly 900 yards rushing. You also are the leading rusher right now. You're going up against Demarion Petit in your conference up there at Northwest. Just overall, you've seen some play in the North. You guys played at East Mississippi. You played Jones at the South Division. Which conference do you see? Which division is tougher in the conference, do you think, at this stage?
I gotta say our division right now because we're in the tough division as well, and I feel like all these teams can play. So I can't put it past no team out here. I feel like every team out here can play.
When are you going to decide where you're going to continue your collegiate career playing football?
I ain't really been focused on that right now, but out of the season, I'm gonna let before December. I have my mind made up and where I'm going.
And the last question for you, Trey, as we talk with Trey Hall. He leads the NJCAA in rushing right now, plays for Mississippi Gulf Coast. That offensive line has been stout over the years. Your O-line this year, I know they've been beneficial to you. Who are some of those guys that open up those gaps for you?
I mean, I got to get credit to the whole O-line. They all work together. Like, if one mess up, they all mess up. But I got to get credit to everybody. The whole line, all guys are them. Without them, it's no me. So I just give all the credit to them. And I tell them every day, man, I'm thankful for y'all. I'm proud of y'all. I love y'all that y'all here for me.
Well, I'll tell you, Warren Central High School is proud of what you're doing down there in Perkinston. Thank you so much, Trey, jumping on the Juco Rush. We look forward to watching you play throughout the year, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yes, sir. Nice meeting y'all.
This is the Juco Rush. I'm Mike Fraser. He's Robert Williamson as we talk NJCAA football. And, you bounce around and you look at, from the rankings to the players, quarterbacks, running backs. I mean, everything's starting to shape up. One thing really starting to come into focus now, Robert, is the Juco Weekly Trophy. Will be presented December 17th down in Texas. We are ecstatic to have partnered with the NJCAA on this prestigious award. I mean, this is just a good award to recognize just the great players that play this game of football at the NJCAA level. So while we have a committee that votes on it, I do not vote on the trophy, nor do I have any influence, but I do have opinions. And at this point of the campaign, I want to give a couple of those opinions who I think the top 5 guys in the country are right now for the Juco Weekly Trophy. You ready for it,
do
Robert?
not have opinions. Are you serious?
Would you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
Go ahead, take it.
All right. Obviously, Hunter Deckers, a quarterback at Iowa Western. That would be one guy for certain that's on the list. I really like Tavion Atkinson, the defensive end at Trinity Valley, leads the country with 8 sacks. Trey Hall, who we just had on the program a few moments ago, leads the nation in rushing for Mississippi Gulf Coast. He'd be one guy on that list. I like Demarion Petit at Northwest. How ruthless is the running back position? Petit rushes for 166, but loses 5 yards in the totals because Trey Hall rushes for 171 last week. And then I like just a host of guys that continue to get the job done. So those are some of my guys right now on the defensive side and the offensive side of the football.
I'm agreeing with you on Deckers, Jordan, and Hall, man. I mean, they're dynamite runners. Deckers, 2 interceptions on the season. One of those came in the first game of the year. So obviously he has not thrown a lot of picks over the course of the last 5 games for Iowa Western. I want to add a couple of guys, though, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it. I like to know what you're thinking here.
Darion Bryant, receiver at Highland. How about 552 receiving yards, 110 per game, 22 per catch, 4 touchdown receptions. I also like Dondreas Giles, the DB at Holmes. A big part of the reason that Holmes is unbeaten. 37 tackles. Yeah, maybe that doesn't stand out in your mind, but how about this? 4 picks and 3 of the 4 for touchdowns. I like to add them, if you don't mind, for consideration.
And my 5th guy, he was your player of the week this week, Wayman Jordan Jr., 143 yards a game, 8 touchdowns, 3rd nationally in rushing yards. So he's another one that's up there. I like the Augustus, Jamarian, and Javen out there at Highland, 6 sacks apiece. Jem Davis, the wide receiver for Trinity Valley, is another guy that's playing well. I'll tell you one, an outlier, I'll give you one. Sincer Bowers, the all-purpose man for Iowa Central, rushing the football, kickoff returns, punt returns. That is a guy that is very valuable to Iowa Central, and that is a guy that is also in the hunt, I think, for getting an invite to the Juco Wheatley Trophy.
Okay, to be fair and balanced, if you're going to have an outlier, a dark horse, if you will, I've got to have one.
Okay, who do you got?
Keenan Phillips, 11 touchdowns.
Love him.
1 has been via the air. 1 has been on the ground via a kickoff return. 11 have been rushing touchdowns, 106 all-purpose yards. Hasn't lost the football once on a fumble. This guy is a steady contributor to the success of Georgia Military.
No doubt about it, man. And not only that, he shares the load. So he's not the feature guy back there every week. So, yeah, no doubt about it. Maurice Edwards is another guy for Lackawanna, another running back who is a guy that's in the hunt as well and grinding it out for the Falcons up there. All right, Robert, Stock Rising. You ready for Stock Rising?
I am.
Let's take a look. This is a segment we really enjoy. These are guys that are flying under the radar, but not anymore. Not on the Juco Rush. My guys right now, I am just really, really impressed with this guy. DeJuan Lacey for Garden City. 3 straight games with 100-plus yards. He is the anchor back there, and he's methodically moving up the chart on the rushing totals. He's getting it done for Garden City and for Kiyoshi Harris. And then my other guy, Jamarian Corbin. Great numbers. I mean, just phenomenal. I mean, look at what he's done. I mean, when you look at Jawarren Corbin, the numbers he's put up, tied for first in the NJCAA with 9 tackles for loss. Last week, 11 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a pick against Dodge City. Against Iowa Western, had an interception, 11 tackles, 4 TFLs. Against Hutch, he had a sack and a few TFLs. Each week, this guy's been climbing the ladder. Man, those are 2 of my guys right there. You give me DeJuan Lacey and Jawarren Corbin. Those are 2 Stock Rising. These are guys you want to watch.
My 2 guys, I've already talked about them, and I know Hunter Deckers maybe doesn't fit that mold of exactly what you were looking at for a Stock Rising guy, a freshman, but this guy is really the epitome of Stock Rising. He is in the NJCAA for the purpose to rise his stock to get the attention of the CFL and the NFL. He's got my attention. 1,500 yards passing, 13 TDs, 2 interceptions, and also talked about Keenan Phillips just a few moments ago. I mean, this is a Mr. Do-It-All for Georgia Military College. Yeah, I guess if you're looking at feature backs, Traquan Jones is the guy for the Bulldogs, but Keenan Phillips, how can you deny a guy that has 11 touchdowns, which leads the NJCAA? So there you have it, Phillips and Deckers on my end.
Oh, those are 2 solid guys, two solid guys. And again, I mean, this is a list we like because there's just so many talented players out there. And these lists, Stock Rising, are guys that fly under the radar, but not on the Juco Rush. All right, let's dive into our key games of the week. Robert, start it off. Who do you have?
Snow and Iowa Western, man, what a big ball game. It is 3-2 battling. I'm going to go with Iowa Western. I'm not going to go against Scott Strohmeyer and Iowa Western again until they force my hand. And this is a game, though, that Snow needs to prove that they are worthy of a 3 ranking. We'll see what happens. Dodge City and Hutch. I know Hutch, did that Toto song, 99, beat Ellsworth by 99-0 last week. But I'm thinking Dodge City has got what it takes.
Stunning. You're not going there, are you?
Blue Dragons.
Are you taking Dodge City to beat Hutchinson?
I am. Well, we tried to sneak the entire show in the roughly 20 minutes of the half with a 22-minute show. Got most of it. Thanks to Mike Frazier for the Juco Rush as we get into half number 2 here on JockJive. And you know what we typically do in quarter number 3? That is take your shout-outs. And I had some stuff to work on, that was extraneous of the game. So let me make sure I've got the number posted that you can shout out to in case you don't remember what it is. 334-488-1385. I think, there you go. That's the number to send shout outs. And here's what we're looking for in a shout out. In the event you do not recall, it's who's it to, who's it from, what is it? And it's all third quarter long. 334-488-1385. Chris Phillips in the backfield, quarterback number 3 on the depth chart. And we will find out from Coach Rob Manchester after the ball game if the injury to Jalen Brown that brought him off the field is that serious or they're just getting Phillips some reps. Speaking of another Phillips, Keenan down to the 29. Opening drive of half number 2 in a 24-zip ball game. And there is an injured Bulldog. And that does not look particularly good at the moment. Well, here's the good news. Tarver's up. Boy, it didn't look good. He had the hands and the face mask that typically means some substantial pain, but able to hop up and hobble to the sidelines. Maybe that is a good sign where Tarver is concerned. Well, it's definitely a much better sign than having to be carried off the field on a gurney. So let's hope for the best where Tarver is concerned. Phillips picking up the first down. Down to the 29-yard line. Oh, shout-outs, 334. Almost forgot. Got focused on football. 334-488-1385. Who's it to? Who's it from? Where are you watching from? What is it? All of that included. And we'll read them in the third. And typically we get a call. Love to talk. But since I'm doing some play-by-play and running the camera and, punching in some scores, I probably can't talk. So if you would text the shout-out, well, thank you. Phillips going for 6. Johnson the intended target. And he will lead him a tad too much. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9. All right, let's get to some shout-outs. This one to Liam Fornham, number 43 from Lizzie in Hope You Like It, Georgia. Come on, says the shout-out. Shout-out to our grandson, J.C. Coney, number 31 from Nana, Nathan, and Granny. All in Ohio saying, go Dogs. It'll bring up a 4th down. Shout out to Charlie Allen, number 78 from McRae, Georgia. We're so proud of you for what you're doing on and off the field. Love mom, dad, and family. On a 4th down and 4, Georgia Military going for it. at the 24 of Louisburg. Opening drive in the second half. Phillips. Handoff given to Phillips. And Chris will give it to Keenan, and Keenan will back his way inside the 20 for the first down. And it is a first down and 10 into the red zone. Shout out to all the Bulldogs. Love you guys. Mary Allen and Doug Davis. I think that may have been a busted play. Phillips turned to his left, and Keenan Phillips was to his right. He kind of lifted the hands, expecting the football to be stuck in gut. But it didn't happen. There was a flag anyway. And it looks like a holding infraction. Shout out to Keenan Phillips from the Marshalls in Climax, Georgia. We love the Bulldogs. Thanks, Climax for checking in. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McRae, number 12 from Lumber City, Georgia. Thank you very much. Lumber City. Penalty yardage puts the Bulldogs back to the 28. Replay of first, and it's a first down and 20. Phillips rolling out. Looking. And he is going to be smothered at the 33. Shout out to Miss Nora Lee, the Louisburg athletic trainer, from Mom watching in Richmond, Virginia. Thanks, Mom in Richmond. Shout out to Isaiah Turner, number 62. Mill, love you so much. Go Dogs. To Gabe Pierce, number 61 from Nana and Paw Paw. Watching from Fitzgerald. We love you. Got a penalty flag on the far sidelines. And it is going to be a roughing the passer. And the infraction will be charged to Louisburg, and the penalty yardage marked off against the Hurricanes, and that will put the Dogs back into the red zone. Shout out to number 20, Quan Floyd, from your family in Kingsland, Georgia. We love you. Go Dogs. And the 2 football emojis. And I've given to Kinchin, and Kinchin down to the 17. Shout out to players from Lumber City, Baxley, and Hazelhurst, Georgia, and the rest of the team. That's an all-encompassing shout out. Shout out to our Bulldogs from Miss Katie, Spence, and Caroline in Milledgeville. So proud of our boys. Got the heart emoji, the paw print emojis, the flexed bicep emoji. And I've given to Kinchin. Kinchin, nothing in the middle, bounces it to the outside, drop for no gain. And there's another penalty flag. Shout out says, I'm watching my son, number 57, Shay Scott, watching from Chester, Virginia. Let's go Louisburg. Love Mom and Dad. Thanks, Chester, Virginia, for checking in. Hold on the Bulldogs. And it'll be back to the 28-yard line. Well, these Dogs are probably getting a little dizzy. They've been in and out of the red zone. In, penalty takes them out. In, penalty takes them out. Shout out to Gabe Pierce. I'm so proud of you. Love Lindy. You got the 2 heart emojis. One red, one black. I like that. Color coordinated with the Dogs. Inside the 20. Eventually inside the 10. And that is a new face, Tamarian Peters. And guess what? And another yellow hanky. Let's see what this one is about. Another hold. I think that is the 3rd consecutive play with an infraction. I'm not sure what the junior college football record is, but that's 3 straight. Love you, Jordan B.B. McRae, from your mother, Toya, and brother, Kane. Khane. That may not be Kane. It could be Khan. Mother and brother. Thank you very much for the shout out. Keenan Phillips, KP8. We love you and the Bulldogs all the way from Bainbridge, Georgia. Grandma and Papa. Penalty yardage back to the 28. Boy, this is a little deja vu going on. We have seen this story before. His penalty yardage has got the Bulldogs back to the 28 again. Shout out to Zykeem. So proud of you. Keep pushing yourself. Zykeem Brooks, number 37 on Louisburg. Go Canes. Second down and 20. Again, Phillips to pass. Looks, fires. It is in and out of the hands of his intended target. Might have heard little footsteps. That was catchable, but wasn't caught. And I believe that is Okale. Was waiting for him to make a turn and show those numbers to the camera. Incomplete pass brings up a third down and 20. Got to get inside the 8 to pick up the first. Hand off to Peters. And he'll stumble his way to the 21. And Perez going to trot onto the field and try a field goal. Has already hit one from 20 yards out. And this one will be a 35-yard effort. Make that a 40. Ball spotted at about the 25, but the ball will be placed out of the 30, making it a 40-yarder, his longest of the year. Got the leg, but not the accuracy. But guess what? There is a penalty. And Perez was down. Let's see if it is a roughing the kicker. Shout out to Jakeeby Garnett, number 3 Louisburg, from the family in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're watching. We love you, nephew. And it'll be a first down on the roughing the kicker call. Number 64, Robert Magwood, Louisburg College, from New Bern, North Carolina. Keep laying those pancakes, son. Good to hear from New Bern. I actually, as a youngster, a little Williamson history, lived about 3 years in Morehead City, just a little bit out of New Bern. Went to New Bern often. And there was another community, Havelock, I believe, in the area. Cherry Point was where my dad was working in civil service. Wow, what a pop of Mincy. Kinchin, rather. And Kinchin will go down inside the 10 near the 9. Shout out to number 47, Darian Smith, from his big sister and little brother. Kinchin pounding towards the end zone. He's in, but man, the official's got a good arm. He threw that flag about 15 yards. And there are 2 on the turn. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McRae, still cheering you on from McRae, Georgia, with no power from the hurricane. Go BB from Raven and the McLaughlins. Boy, we hope you get power back soon. I live to the west in Alabama. We didn't get anything. Made the drive today on I-20, and obviously there is a lot of trees down. So Georgia got hammered. Face masking infraction, and is charged to Louisburg. Hey, good to hear from Ken Franks and all the grounds crew there in Davenport Field, Georgia Military College. Sending a shout out to us and a shout out back to you. Wildcat into the end zone will go Kinchin. And the Bulldogs will stretch the lead to 30. Boy, it took a while. A lot of penalties, a lot of infractions. But the Bulldogs into the end zone. Keenan Phillips, we love you, Mom, Dad, and Braylon. Shout out to Jairus Coney, number 31, from your G-Ma and Papa in Eastman, Georgia. We're proud of you and love you. Miss Branch, God is good, says the shout out. Perez through the uprights, Bulldogs by 31. Little overcast on a Saturday afternoon here in South Carolina. A pooch kick. And fair catch called for, and then some contact made. And I'm going to make the assumption that the Bulldog who made contact thought that your return guy was about to take off with it, but he had called for the fair catch. And that is Pelham making the fair catch. So penalty yardage will be tacked on to the catch at the 35. I must say, I'm impressed with these officials. The official threw the ball to the sidelines. That man had a good spiral. Line drive, kind of Elway-esque. There's the infraction, which half number 2 has been penalty marred. And it wasn't a lengthy drive to begin the football game for Georgia Military College, but it took a lot of time because of those infractions. And right now, you got Louisburg getting their first drive of the second half, and it's coming better than 5 minutes into the half. Hand off to Robinson, and he'll make his way to the 48. Well, Lynn and I up here reminiscing about North Carolina. I was a kid when I was there in Morehead City. But he brought up Kinston, which I remember the name. There was a lighthouse, what is it, Cape Hatteras, a little bit north of Morehead City. Look out. Trying to remember, is it Devil's Hill where the Wright brothers flew the first flight? Trevelyan's helmet comes off again. Okay, forgive me. I'm reminiscing about stuff that is way, way back now. That's what you do when you get old. You start reminiscing about younger years. Shout out to Jesse Vines, number 20, Mom and Dad from Milford, Connecticut. We love you. Louisburg shout out to Tank, number 44 of GMC. Let's go GMC, make a touchdown like Helene did in Lumber City. Big stop on the Robinson carry, and now you got late activity that is drawing the flag. Well, thank you very much for the kind words, and we're glad you're on the other end of the broadcast watching your grandson, Creighton Horse, number 32 from Southern Illinois. And love sent to Horst as well. Shout out to McKell. Big Cat Reed for Mom and Dad. We love you. Go Dogs. Well, we do the shout outs all third stands along, and it looks like you're going to have plenty of time the shout out. Penalties are extending the corner. And here is yet another. Offsetting infractions. They will be charged to Jorian Haynes of Georgia Military. And I'm not sure it is number 10 for Louisburg, but the number 10, that is Miller, Quoron Miller. So Miller for Louisburg, Haynes for Georgia Military. Offsetting infractions, both stay in the game. And now let's see what this conversation is about. 7:57 left to play in quarter number 3. Shout out to number 78. We love you, Becky, Christy, and families. Shout out says JC dropping. Got a flame emoji and a laugh emoji, Miss Branch. Again, saying God is good. And Marquise, have a good game from Green Bay. You got this. By the way, I checked in on scores at halftime. Iowa Western a 31-20 score over Snow with 5:11 to play in the football game. Hutch was all over Dodge City. 42-zip. Heading into halftime. They put 99 up last week against Ellsworth. Quick kick on a 4th down. Then Trevelyan will boot it down to the 10. And that is where Georgia Military will take over 1st down and 10. I mentioned that your Division III teams are taking on Division I teams. Division III DuPage, they were up 17-14 last play of the 3rd quarter, so they are up now. Against DuPage, and they lost. Oh, okay. Iowa Central won. I had checked that score out at halftime, and I knew at the half, I think Iowa Central, well, half here. I'm not sure if it was half there, but Iowa Central had the lead. DuPage, the number 1 team in Division III, so that's obviously of some interest to Louisburg. Phillips on the carry, and he will cross the 15 and churn his way to the 18. Gain of 9 brings up a 2nd and 1. And Phillips staying in at QB. On a 2nd down and 1, running the option. It looked like he was going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but might have actually picked up the 1st. And yep, the chains will move as he crosses the 20 to the 21. Lamont Johnson, number 50, your parents and sisters love you. Shout out to number 5, Lee Niles. We're proud of you, son. Here from Grayson, Georgia. Got the red and black heart emoji. Shout out to DJ Bland with those 2 heart emojis, too. We love you, too, says the shout out. Phillips to pass on a 1st down. And will air it out long. Bland incomplete. Got a penalty flag. And it looks like the mark-off is going to be pass interference against Louisburg, unless the result of this conversation between the 2 guys wearing black and white is different than anticipated. Well, on the other end of the field, flag is being waved off. And the football is being spotted at the 21. So no pass interference. Speaking of scores, too, I do know that Northeast Mississippi knocked off Mississippi Delta Thursday, 20-14. Second down and 10. And another penalty marker. Shout out to Wyatt Big Mac Crosby, number 66, from Mom, Joe, and all your family in Tallahassee. Go Dogs with a heart emoji. Another shout out to Quan Floyd, number 20, family. So proud of you. Go Dogs. 5-yard mark off for offside. Second down and 5. Football at the 26. Second half action. Bulldogs 31 zip lead. One of the top scoring offenses in the country. Averaging better than 40 per. Kinchin across the 20, across the 40. And he'll be shoved out of bounds near midfield. First down and 10 GMC. Phillips with Phillips in the backfield. Chris the cornerback, Keenan the running back. Couple of receivers to this side. On a first down and 10. Phillips again to pass. Lobs it over the middle, incomplete. Trying to get it to Tarver. And an incomplete pass. That'll bring up a second down and 10. Shout out to Tamarian Peters, your family in Eatonton, Georgia. Love you. Got the man in black heart emoji. Another shout out that simply says, Go Canes. Shout out to number 20, Quan Floyd. Sister-in-law, Leah loves you. Head off to Phillips. And Phillips inside the 30 to the 26. And guess what? You're not going to believe this. There is a penalty flag on the turn. Bulldogs indicating it is against the Canes. Let's see what the official says. Shout out to Kamari Gray, number 63, GMC. Much love from mom and family back home in Fayetteville, Georgia. Go Bulldogs. Shout out to number 78, Charlie Allen. I'm so proud of you. Love, Marcy. And penalty yardage indeed marked off against the Hurricanes. Puts the ball down to the 12-yard line, where it is first down and 10. Well, again, after the game, we talk with Rob Manchester. That's a conversation exclusively on YouTube, and we'll find out the status of Chip Cooper. Traquan Jones into the end zone from 12 yards away. Kinchin, TD number 2. And Georgia Military getting very near that mark they have so frequently achieved this season, the 40-point barrier. Perez trying to tack on the extra point. He has only missed one this year. That one good too. Georgia Military leading it by 38.
Georgia Military College provides opportunities to learn, to grow, to lead. The GMC Corps of Cadets will help you build a foundation to start your journey to success. As one of 4 military junior colleges in the nation, GMC provides character-based education, state-of-the-art facilities, physical training, leadership, history, and tradition. Be the leader that makes a difference. Start here. Go anywhere.
Just a smidge under 5 minutes left to play in the football game. A 38-zip advantage, Georgia Military. Clouds beginning to cover up Brooklyn Casey Football Stadium. Here just across the river from Columbia, South Carolina. Davis fielding it inside the 10. He'll bring it to the 25. And that's where the Hurricanes will take over. First down and 10. Well, Georgia Military about to get a week off. And then a couple of Saturdays from now, it is back to Davenport Field with games against Andrew College and Clayton State before hitting the road for the last 2 games of the football season. At least the regular season. Bulldogs still in the hunt for one of those top 4 spots. And with Snow losing today, of course, don't have a final yet. They were 5 minutes away from wrapping it up last time I checked. But Iowa Western appeared to be poised to hand Snow their first loss of the year. So the Bulldogs sitting in a great spot to be in the Final Four. And right now in control of their own destiny, out to the 35, to the 36-yard line on the carry. That is Denijah Scott for a gain of 9. Well, thank you very much for the shout out. A shout out to moi. I appreciate that. And we appreciate you watching. I tell folks often, if you weren't watching, well, what's the point in me being here and running my mouth? You are, so we appreciate that. Shout out to number 66, Gabriel Coveney. Let's go Canes. Hand off up the middle. Gain of a couple of yards brings up a second down. Well, actually more than a couple apparently. Well, now the down marker walks backwards a bit, but still a gain of 4. Bringing up a second down and 6. Shout out to Jalen Flood from Nana and Papa, we love you. Trevillion's pass caught, and he will pick up the first. So the chains on the far sidelines move as the pass play to Jones. We'll get the Hurricanes inside Bulldog territory. This time, not a lot of running room. Gerald Riddick able to squeeze out maybe a yard. And it'll bring up a second down and 9. Trevelyan to pass. fires, almost intercepted. Anthony Carter there to bat it to the ground. And an incomplete pass, bringing up a 3rd down and 9. Shout out says, get well number 55, Ashawn Moody, go Dogs. Snow lost. Okay, thank you very much for the update on Snow. I know they were behind by 11. And they have lost Iowa Western, which will stay number 2. Trevelyan's pass over the middle. Got a target open inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Big target in Jones, the tight end. And the Canes will take their first trip into the red zone. Hutch is going to stay number 1. They were up on Dodge City 42-zip going into halftime. Iowa Western wins over Snow. They'll stay at 2. Pass caught and driven out of bounds near the 5-yard line. That is Denijah Scott. Snow loses. They likely drop out of the top 5. So you think Mississippi Gulf Coast moves to 3. 31-20 the final score. Iowa Western knocking off Snow. And you hope when Georgia Military moves to 4. Garden City currently 6, winning big today. And of course the polls will come out on Monday. Got a break in the action. We're back in 30.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Football spotted at the 5. We're in his 1st and goal for the Canes. Trevelyan, 10 touchdown tosses on the year, looking for 11, lobs it to the backside of the end zone, incomplete. Throws it away to avoid the sack. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5, but maybe not the 5. There is a penalty flag. With 1:18 left to play here in quarter number 3. Now the penalty marked off against the Bulldogs, half the distance to the goal, turns it into a 1st down. End goal, Trevelyan underneath center for the first time in the football game. Had been working from the gun. And I've given to Robinson, and Robinson dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Back to the 5, where it is 2nd and goal. .46 seconds left to play here in quarter number 3. 46 seconds left in your shout-outs as well, as Trevelyan is underneath center. Drops back to pass. Looks. Flushed out of the pocket. Lobs it. Just to avoid the sack and a loss of 10 or more. And it'll be a 3rd down and goal coming up. .26 seconds left to play in quarter number 3. And Trevilian back to familiar territory. Delay of game, 5-yard mark off. So Trevilian throwing the ball away, trying to avoid the sack. And, well, it wasn't a sack, but it's a 5-yard mark off for delay of game. So there's still some additional yardage tacked on. Gabe Coveney, number 66 of the Hurricanes, sending our love from New York. Thank you, New York. Shout out to number 8, Marquise Nelson. Hello from your mom and family in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We are all watching the game now as Trevilian fires over the middle into the end zone to Jones. 10-yard touchdown strike. And the Canes on the board, the 11th touchdown toss of the year for Trevilian. It comes with 19 seconds left to play in the 3rd. Extra point kick from out and through the uprights. Louisburg on the board in the 3rd. Relatively short kick fielded at the 8. Bland to the 30. And he is jammed into the artificial turf here at the 40. Well, it was Bland full speed ahead, and then a hurricane put an end to that trip downfield at the 40. And that is where the Bulldogs will take over, 1st down and 10. First and 10, football to the 40. Phillips. And I'm giving up the middle. And that is Tamarian Peters with a gain of 3. And that is going to do it for 3. We head into the 4th, Bulldogs with a 38-7 lead. Hey, thanks for the shout-outs. Great to have you watching wherever you are watching Georgia Military College football. We head into the fourth, a 38-7 advantage. Phillips dropping back, looks. He will fire deep. It is incomplete. There was contact. Tarmer knocked down. But officials say the legs got tangled, no pass interference. All right, we did officially have some shout-outs come in the third that I did not read. Hello from Jazzy in Green Bay. Shout out to number 19 of GMC, TJ Smith. Mom loves you. We love you, Williams, number 73. There you go. Thanks for all the shout-outs. Great to have you watching Georgia Military College football. Phillips again to pass. Picked off at the 38. And the first Georgia Military turnover. A Phillips pick. And Louisburg will have the football inside Georgia Military College football territory. Kamari Chatton picking it off and bringing it to the 36. And that's where it is first down and 10. Prince back into the ball game, able to dump it off. Complete pass to Riddick. And the Canes 6 yards from the red zone. Football to the 26-yard line. We're at a second down and 1. Well, this time it is Riddick on the carry. Riddick on the reception previously. Riddick on the carry here. Question is, did he pick up enough for the first? And it will likely depend upon the spot. You can see the chain game wanting to move downfield. But apparently it's just a little bit shy of that first down marker. Third and short. Well, I'm not sure if Louisburg knows what the play is at the moment, and the play clock ticking down. As a matter of fact, it hit goose eggs as the give goes to Riddick. But Riddick able to pick up the first, so apparently the snap of the football came just as the clock was hitting goose eggs. And it'll be a first down and 10 for Louisburg inside the 25 to the 24. Prince to pass. Finds a receiver over the middle, incomplete. Almost, but not quite. That was Jeffrey McDonald, the intended receiver. But there is a penalty flag back this direction. And a roughing the quarterback call apparently coming. And that penalty yardage marked off against the Bulldogs. Down to the 12-yard line. And the Canes, who went scoreless through 3 quarters, trying to punch another one in here. Prince rolling to his right. He will leap out of bounds at about the 13 and lose a yard. Second down and 12 after the 2-yard loss. Prince from the gun, scanning the field, rolls to his right. He will fire into the corner of the end zone, and he hit the referee. Referee could not make the one-handed catch. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. So we have seen both teams with 2 quarterbacks, Trevelyan and Prince for the Canes, and for the Bulldogs, Brown and Phillips. Trevelyan throwing a touchdown toss, a 10-yarder. Just a few moments ago to Jones, and now Prince bounces it into the dirt to Garrett. And it'll bring up a 4th down and 12, and obviously down 38-7, 12-16 to play in the game. It is a 4th down that I would think you go for it. Maybe you try to kick the 3 through, and apparently that is what they will try to do. Draw a little bit closer. And maybe 2. I mean, I'm just speculating off the top of the head, but you're thinking about letting those pollsters know who decide the top 5 in Division III after a DuPage loss, as that one hit the upright and drops in from 35 yards out. The lead for the Bulldogs trimmed to 28. And as Niles returning the football from inside the 15, brings it out to the 29. And that is where the Bulldogs will take over, 1st down and 10. Still 12:08 to play in the football game. And yeah, Georgia Military College with a 4-score lead. But as I mentioned, if you are Louisburg, knowing that DuPage has been knocked off, then if you can make this game look respectable with the 3 playing a 1 and the 3 playing a number 5 ranked team in D1, that gets the attention of the pollsters. Phillips handoff up the middle, gain of 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 on the carry by Tamarian Peters. Well, a number of guys we haven't seen. Haven't seen Cooper, haven't seen Jones, haven't seen Mincy, haven't seen Brown since the first half. And all of that will be part of our post-game conversation with Rob Manchester. We'll try to find out why. And we know, at least in part, it is due to the health status of players, so we'll get an update on how they are faring. Third down 3. Football at the 35. Bland and Flood, your receivers. Phillips, the quarterback. Mincy in the backfield. Giving him in, see nothing of the middle, bounces into the outside, and he'll be dropped at the 26. Well, and I was talking about, too, Louisburg wanting to impress the pollsters, but you're talking about a Georgia Military College squad that would like to do the same thing. They want to be one of those top 4 teams. And on a 4th down and 2, Bulldogs at least appear to be poised to go for it. Now, will they try to draw the Canes off sides and then take a timeout? Or will they actually snap the football? Well, they got players to jump, but jump back. And it looks like the Bulldogs are going to call a timeout. The goal was to try to get a 5-yard mark off, get somebody to hop off sides. They did not. So Cole Snyder will trot onto the field and boot it away for the Bulldogs while Jones will go back to receive. Jones standing in his 30. And Cole Schneider in his 16. Baseball tomorrow here on JockJive. Jones down at the 24. But you got a roughing the kicker call, and this one is going to give the Bulldogs a penalty that gives them a first, which is what they were looking for on the offsides, but it looks like they will get it on a roughing the kicker call. And your fall baseball comes to you from Wicksburg, Alabama, and Perkinston, Mississippi. There's the infraction running into the kicker. And it should be a first down. I'm not sure how the sticks on the other side of the field got to where they are, or the down marker where it currently is. Well, we got a replay of 4th. So did we have offsetting? I did not see anything called on the Canes, so we're back to a 4th and 2. So now what I'm thinking must have happened is that instead of a timeout, there was a delay of game call, 5-yard mark off. Then you had a running into the kicker, 5-yard mark off. So you're back to a 4th and 2. And Phillips trying to use the change of cadence to draw off Canes. And you got a delay of game. Bulldogs, boy, we've been here before. That has been the odd thing about half number 2 here, is that you feel like you got some deja vu going on based on all the infractions. So a delay of game, Schneider's going to kick it again. Well, how about the fake instead? And they're not going anywhere on the fake. Needed 8, got about 2. So Landon Vickers snuffed out. And Louisburg likes it now at the 31. Where it is first down and 10 for Louisburg. And Prince back into the ball game. I am scanning the sidelines looking for Trevelyan. Trevelyan had that touchdown toss. And after the TD toss came out of the ball game, and Prince has been in ever since. And at the moment, I do not see Trevelyan. Yep, there he is on the far end. Looks like he's okay. Prince takes off up the middle, inside the 20, inside the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown, Prince. 32-yard touchdown run. And Louisburg trying to make it a 38-17 game on the extra point kick. Well, the last several weeks when talking with Rob Manchester, he will say, we're giving up stuff we shouldn't be giving up. And I got a feeling he's going to have the same story when we talk today, as that lead is now down to a 38-17 score. .9:22 to play. And the Bulldogs appear to be anticipating the onside. That's what they get, high into the air, batting around, and Hurricanes might have gotten on it. They're going to clear this scrum and figure out who's got the football. And it is the Hurricanes. Keaton Braddock recovering the onside kick. There is still 9:15 to play in this football game. And the Hurricanes will take over again inside Bulldog territory. Line of scrimmage is the 45. Light starting to come on here at Brooklyn Casey. They got a false start. And that's going to be a 5-yard mark off against the Hurricanes, pushing them to midfield where it'll be first down and 15. That was the big offensive lineman, Tariq Monroe, who moved backwards too early. Prince flushed out of the pocket, and he'll be dropped to the 49. Big open field tackle from Jarvis Coney. He's been doing it all year long. Back to the 49. And the loss of another yard turns it into a second down and 16. Prince stepping up, firing, caught at the 40. And they get a lot of that yardage back, turning it into a third down and very manageable on the completion to Miller. Third down, we'll call it 8. Football at the 42. 8:05 to play in the football game. Pass caught at the line of scrimmage, and that is Davis. And there's all kinds of flags tossed in. Let's see what these are about. So a face mask, more than likely. Got an injured Bulldog. So the infraction marked off against the Bulldogs, face masking. First down for the Canes, inside 8 minutes to play. First 38 points of the game belong to the Bulldogs, the last 17 the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes trying to punch another one in at the 24. Prince dropping back, looking. And it is incomplete over the middle. Miller, the intended target, brings up a second down and 10. Well, I wouldn't have thought that this is going to overlap with the Allen University Albany State game, but that one's getting underway in about 15 minutes. And at the moment, it doesn't look like this one's going to be done before that one starts. But if you hadn't got enough football in yet today, then check that one out. By the way, taking a look at college football, let's see where Alabama is losing to Vanderbilt right now. 23-13 with 1:25 to play in the half. That is caught inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Pelham on the reception, 1st and goal, Hurricanes. Ohio State 21-zip over Iowa. Georgia leading Auburn 14-10. Ole Miss 24-3 over South Carolina. Davis making his way down to the 3. Indiana 24-10 over Northwestern. And Vandy with the 23-13 lead over Alabama. Those are all games ongoing. Penn State has beaten UCLA, Texas A&M over Missouri. SMU beats Louisville. Prince. That is tipped away at the last moment by Haynes. And then still got a ton of top 25 games still to come. Third down and goal from the 3. Incomplete pass, stopping the clock with 6 minutes, 28 seconds left to play in the football game. Robinson in the backfield. He'll get the call. He'll get stopped near the 5. And it is 4th and goal, Louisburg. Running clock as we get inside 6 minutes to play. It has been a lengthy football game. Creeping up on the 3-hour mark. In the first half, relatively normal. It's been the second half that has been extended primarily due to penalties. Jones on a 4th and goal from the 5. Trying to extend the play, and he will toss it over the head of his intended target. That is Tando. And the Bulldogs will take over deep inside their own territory after the loss of downs. Well, it looked like Louisburg was poised to pick up points 23 and 24. The 1st and goal at the 5. The Bulldog defense able to hold. And we'll have the football at the 5. We don't anticipate anything upstairs here. Thinking likely keep it on the ground inside your own 10 near the 6. And as a matter of fact, Keenan Phillips is in the backfield, so that's exactly what they're going to do. Not trying to disguise it at all. Out to about the 10, gain of 3. 2nd down and 7. The Bulldogs would love to pick up a 1st down or 2, run some time off the clock, and get out of South Carolina with a 38-17 win. Canes, boy, had all kinds of movement. It looked like a domino effect. This has been admittedly a discombobulated game, at least the 2nd half. It appeared that every Bulldog moved, they just didn't move at the same time. Half the distance to the goal brings up a 2nd down and 11. To pick up the 1st, you got to get across the 17. And Phillips will bring it right up the middle. Back to the 10 again. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. 4 minutes, 8 seconds left to play in the football game. Well, Phillips didn't want to go out of bounds, but he doesn't mind as much if he picks up the 1st, and he is close. And it appears he has got the 1st. So the chain's moving. In this particular case, getting out of bounds did not stop the clock. So it will continue to roll. And there is an injured Hurricane on the field. That is Jaden Martin Burgess. Who took a step backwards and grabbed a chair. With 3 minutes, 32 seconds left to play in the football game. And Burgess up. Trotting to the sideline. Well, with a 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs, another opportunity to run some time off the clock. Got the ball with 5:08 to play and run 90 seconds off the clock. And they're going to stay with that formation, but a different guy running the football. This is Kinchin. Kinchin spinning, turning, twisting, making his way to the 28. Pickup of 9, close to 10. And now the officials say it is 10. He'll have the first with 3:10 to play. Kitchen again on the carry, breaks it to the right side. And he'll be run out of bounds after a gain of 6. Second and 4. Football at the 35. Bulldogs will improve to 6-1 on the year. Louisburg will fall to 4-2. I don't think this is going to hurt the Canes in Division III standings. Bulldogs, not sure. You got Garden City one level behind them, and they were just pounding. I believe it was Independence today. Nice meeting Lynn, who is on his way out. Going to head back to North Carolina. Going to have Lynn with us up here in the box with a couple of minutes to play. We've got a timeout on the field. Let's take the break and be right back too.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Two minutes to play in the football game. Bulldogs with the football. Kenshin on the carry, protect the ball out the 40-yard line. And he'll have the first, and the chains will move again. Doesn't look like Louisburg is going to try to stop the clock. So we can start taking a look at scoring in this one. And it began with 10 minutes exactly to play in the first stanza. Phillips on a 1-yard touchdown plunge. The kick good. Bulldogs by 7. 5:41 to play in the first. Perez a 20-yard field goal. And the Bulldogs landed by 10. 2:12 to go in the opening stanza. As Kinchin makes his way inside Louisburg territory. It was Javon Kinchin on a 28-yard fumble recovery. Perez's kick good, 17-zip after 1. Phillips punches it in from 9 yards out, and the kick good with 5:11 to play in the half. And at halftime, Bulldogs 24-zip. They stretch the lead to 38 with a couple of third quarter scores. In the 9:27 mark, Kinchin a 2-yard touchdown run. At the 5:54 mark, he again running the football, this time from 12 yards out. The extra point kick's good. And at that point, the Bulldogs led it by 38. Canes got their first score with 19 seconds to play in the third on a Trevelyan 10-yard touchdown strike. And that toss went to Roan, Jabari Roan. Extra point kick good, 38-7. And both fourth quarter scores belonging to the Canes. A 38-yard field goal and a 32-yard touchdown run. Prince on the run. And the extra point kick good. And that is how this one will end. It is over. Bulldogs picking up their 6th win of the year. Got a much needed break coming up. Then a couple of home games and a couple of road games. And then we're hoping 2 more road games. one of those Final Four and championship matchups. Thanks so much for watching our coverage. Don't forget Allen University and Albany State. They kick it off in 2 minutes. So you can check that one out on JockJive. Baseball tomorrow, ABC Fall League, and Showcase Series Fall Ball, all here on JockJive. Rob Manchester talks to us on YouTube in a bit. If we can get him from the field up into the box, we'll post that exclusively to our YouTube subscribers. Hey, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have, thank you. Thanks for watching GMC Football. I'm Robert Williamson for JockJive. So long, everybody.